Good morning guys, welcome to Operation Crypto. Price analysis on Zilliqa today. We've not covered it for a while, so it's something that we need to check out and see what's going on. And like most assets, we're starting to get a little bit of a bounce on those lows if you have a bit of zoom in. And you can see from that very low position down here where we hit 0.029, so that's just under 3 cents. So far to the highest point, we made a 68% recovery, which is looking fairly similar across what's happened across the board. Let's just remove all that drawings. So we are currently on the daily time frame here, and you can see we had that major pump back in March, which were crazy really. I mean, I think that was something to do with Facebook potentially. But yeah, if you look at the lows there, we did a monster move, pretty much close to 600% highs when we did really start to push up, which is great to see. But the rest of the market sold off, and it did follow it down. We did have that news. It's kind of stuck to a different pattern to some other assets. For example, if you look at let's have a look at VeChain. We saw these losses. We then had a consolidation period and we dropped down and then we recovered. If you're looking at Zilliqa, it didn't quite do that, did it? I mean, we did have a drop, but it instantly regained that momentum. It's come back into this area here where you can see there's quite a bit of liquidity. So if you just put the rectangle there, you can see this is a key area we need to blast through now there. I mean, it was a major support level back here after we had that major dump. It managed to find some support. We did have that drop, which happened on Bitcoin. Whenever Tesla sold 75% of their holding, it did drag the entire market down with it. But we bounced back up, and then we hit that level of resistance probably 3 times now. If you look here, their level of resistance, and we rejected off that 3 times. I think if the price does reclaim that, get some daily closures above that level, then we probably can start going on to target this region here, which is a nice confluent area there at around 5.86 cents. And you can see in the past, look at that major support level there. We did wick through it, but look at all these wicks here. They are major support levels. So breaking through 6 cents is that probably area we need to really start targeting. If we're looking for some buys, we can have a look at some areas where we could potentially look at placing some orders. And we're not out of the woods yet. We're definitely not out of the woods. I mean, we've had some nice bounces so far, and usually within bear markets you do get those relief rallies. But at some stage, whenever we do bottom out, you will get that steady churn up, forming a bottom before we do see some positive price action. And that's mainly people buying up because they think the bottom's in, which then in turn brings a slight little bit of confidence back to the market. When people can see that confidence coming back, it gives them confidence to buy back into the assets. And for me, I'm currently, I think I've got a little bit of Zilliqa, not too much, but for me, it's still not time to buy yet. I mean, if you're looking to buy and not worried about a price dropping, you can use the old Fibonacci, and we can see if we put it on from the bottom there to the top. We actually did a 78% retracement to an absolute T, which was there, so you could say that's the start of the next move. So really, you need to drag your fib there, and that's the current latest move. If you're looking for buys, you can use these Fibonacci's as entry points. If you just get around a bit exact. So there you go, that's your latest move. You could even say potentially that's the next one where you want to look at too, but I mean you can break it down into smaller moves. So let's have a look at that one there. That's a very low point after we dumped down. That was at 3.5 cents, and we pushed up, and the current highs is around 4.9 cents. We just dropped before that 5 cent market, didn't we? So if you're looking for buys, I'd target 4.4 cents, and I'd ladder those all the way down to around 3.8. I think there's a good chance that we still drop, but it depends on what goes on globally. I mean, we're still waiting for potential recession to kick in. I mean, if that does happen, you would expect the global financial markets to take a nosedive, continue to trend down. But for me, there's a little inkling in the back of my brain that I just thinks crypto is that hedge against the current financial systems, and if Bitcoin does perform well in a recession, then ultimately it's going to drag everything else up with it and restore confidence across the market. So we're still a little bit in no man's land, in my opinion. We just need to wait out. But Zilliqa, I mean, that comes under all market scrutiny. It is going to follow what Bitcoin does ultimately. I mean, then it didn't. I mean, look at that candle. That daily candle was ridiculous. It was some pure power coming into markets then. But it's a shame it sold off. So buys, like I said, within that range. Don't go balls deep in it. I mean, I won't load everything up there and think, right, it's going to go up. There's still that possibility it could come down and test 3 cents again. I mean, we have got major support levels down here up at around 2.7 cents. So that's just something to bear in mind if the price does go down there. It's a negative Fibonacci extension level too. So that's your buying levels, and I've mentioned sell zones already. That is that peak around here. I mean, if we do manage to break through here, we'll just put a rectangle on it there. Look at this, major support level there and there. And you come through resistance, and then look at that, was a nice area of liquidity, and it's also on that negative 2.7 fib level. So if you're looking to sell, I think 5.3 cent is going to be a good region to sell. If we do push up there, then you'd probably consider a price reject, come back down maybe to some of these fibs before we hopefully potentially break through, and then go and start pushing up. I'm not going to look at any levels above that because there's not much point yet. We're still waiting for, like I say, confidence restore. We're waiting for liquidity to come into the markets. There's not much trading volume compared to 6 months ago. So when that does start to increase, you'll start to see confidence, you'll start to see more activity across your Telegram groups, your Twitter. You'll start to see things starting to pick up. Whether that's for time now, still very unsure, but what we can do is just dollar cost averaging, and at some point when the market does start to react, you will start to see some of those DCA buys start to really pull in some profit. So for me now, I am buying assets. I'm not currently buying Zilliqa, but I am buying assets across the board. I'm just waiting for that market to show me which way it's going, whether it's down or up. I mean, I would prefer up like we all would, but I'm still waiting. I still think it's a little bit early to call a bottom. You get people calling bottoms. If you look on Twitter, I mean, you get somebody, that account that keeps popping up, TA analyst, fucking hell. Brutal watching them tweets coming with all these crazy patterns. So yeah, I mean, looking at Zilliqa on the overall spectrum, we've got a nice area forming here. Let's keep his fingers crossed that we don't dump through and test these regions down here. I mean, 2.7 cent does look like a decent area for it to buy, but we need to wait and see, don't we, and see what happens across the market. So yeah, we've mentioned sell zones and buy zones. I'm not going to look at any type of patterns, we're not going to look at anything else like that. We're just waiting for the market to show its direction, and then we'll act accordingly. But that's it, that's my analysis on Zilliqa. I will look to potentially buy depending on which way the market goes. I mean, I think if we manage to get some closures above this level here, then I think it could be a good reason to potentially buy, because we would get into support above that and support above that. So maybe once we hit that level, we can go on and start and target this region around here up at around 8.3 cents. So don't worry about trying to catch a bottom. There's always an opportunity to make money. I mean, this asset in itself could be a multiple dollar asset at some stage in the future, as long as they keep building like they are. So don't worry about trying to catch a bottom down here or here. Dollar cost averaging, nice steady buys in. If it comes down more, you deploy more capital and then hold on and take as you are buying in. Also ladder out profits. You don't have to buy it all here and sell it all here. Just take profit out on the way up, and that's going to be the way that you do either accumulate or at least start to bank some profit. But that's it, that's my thoughts today. If you're new to this channel, please make sure that you are subscribed, hit that like button, and I'll catch you next time.